Today, we are covering US 189. US 189 is a spur route of US 89 running through Utah and Wyoming, being 322 miles long. US 189 begins at an interchange with I-15 in Provo and aside north for University Avenue, which isn't a control city. In downtown Provo, we meet parent route US 89 and we are still only signed for University Avenue. At the end of Utah Highway 52, we finally get a control city, this being Heber City, which is the right choice. On the mileage sign, we have Bridal Veil Falls in 4 miles, a park, Sundance in 9, and Heber City in 22, our control city. In Heber City, we meet US 40 and we are now running concurrent with it and we have no control city. On the mileage sign, we have Camas in 16 miles, Park City in 18, and Salt Lake City in 49. We don't actually go to Salt Lake, but we meet I-80, which will take you there, so I actually think this is a good choice. But before long, our control city switches to 2 I-80 at the end of Utah Highway 32. Also, we don't even get a US 189 shield up there, only US 40. But when we meet Utah Highway 319, our control city becomes Park City. Utah DOT, please pick a control city and stay with it. When we get to Park City, our control city goes back to Junction I-80. When we meet I-80, I-80 is signed west for Salt Lake and east for Cheyenne, the perfect cities. We're now gonna run concurrent with I-80 east for Cheyenne. On the overhead sign, there's no mention of US 189, but on the ramp, it gets mentioned. On the mileage sign, we have Wanship in 7 miles, Colville in 15, and Cheyenne in 411. There's no US 189 control cities on here, and I actually like that. Here we meet I-84 signed west for Ogden, and we are still signed east for Cheyenne and receive no mention of US 189. Welcome to Wyoming. The sign's pretty mid, I'ma be real. And in Wyoming, we still receive no control city for US 189 on the mileage signs, but on the mileage signs, we have Evanston in 4 miles and Rock Springs in 106. Why does Wyoming change it to Rock Springs instead of keeping it as Cheyenne? I honestly don't know. And quite frankly, the middle of nowhere Wyoming, we leave I-80 and we are now signed north for Kemmerer. Oddly enough, on the mileage signs, Kemmerer is on the third line in 37 miles, and our secondary is Teton Park in 201 and Yellowstone in 254, neither of which are on US 189. Sorry about the poor street view quality, this is the most recent I could find, but looking at the route ahead, I can assume that the control cities are Kemmerer and Diamondville. And sorry for poor quality again, but I'm assuming the control city from looking at the route ahead is Big Piney. When we get to Big Piney, the street view is finally back to normal, and I can tell for sure that the control city is Jackson. On the mileage sign, our control city becomes Yellowstone in 145 miles, and Jackson becomes our secondary in 88. Here we meet US 191, and we are concurrent with it for the rest of the route. Why doesn't US 189 end here? Great question. I honestly don't know, but what matters is that we're signed north for Jackson. Wyoming DOT, please stick with Jackson or Yellowstone for now on. And of course, Wyoming DOT changes the control city to Yellowstone in 123 miles, and our secondary is Teton Park, and Jackson is on the third line. And now we have US 26 and 89 joining the mix, all signed for Jackson. According to most of the sources I found, US 189 ends at this interchange, but according to the overhead sign, US 189 goes on a level further with all the other US highways signed for Jackson, Yellowstone, and Teton Park. If you go down the road another mile or so, US 189 abruptly ends and gets an end sign. Why does US 189 abruptly end like this? I honestly don't know, and I really want to know. I don't really know where US 189's northern beginning is, so we're gonna start here at the interchange with Wisconsin Highway 22, and we're signed for Hoback Junction. Just sign it for Hoback. When US 26 and 89 leave, we're signed south for Pinedale, which is actually on US 191, which means US 189 has no control city. On the mileage sign, we have Big Piney in 78 miles, US 189's control city, and Pinedale in 64 for US 191. In Daniel, we leave US 191, and we are still signed south for Big Piney. But on the mileage side, our control city switches to Kemmerer at 94 miles, and Big Piney is now our secondary in 25. We actually have good street view as part of Kemmerer, and we are now signed south for Evanston. We are now concurred with I-80 west for Evanston. Please just sign it for Salt Lake. But on the mileage signs, our control city becomes Ogden, and Ogden isn't even on I-80, it's on I-84. And welcome to Utah. This state welcome signs better than Wyoming, I guess. And since Utah DOT is good, our control city switches to Salt Lake City. And here we meet I-84 again, signed west for Ogden, and we still have no mention of US 189 of the overhead signs. And here is where US 189 leaves I-80 side for Heber City and Provo, but there's no mention of US 189 on the exit sign, it's only US 40. At a random interchange in Park City, our control city becomes Heber City, and we lose the Provo sighting that we had earlier. On the mileage sign, we don't even get a mention of Provo, and Heber City is put on the third line, and we have Denver as our control city, which seems like a good one, but it's actually faster to go back north to 80, then to 25 to Denver instead, so this is Utah being provincial. In Heber City, US 189 leaves US 40 and has no control city. On the mileage sign, we have Orem, our secondary in 24 miles, and Provo, our primary in 27. And here is US 189's southern terminus at I-15 signed south from Las Vegas. You can get the northbound I-15, but it's a little complicated and you don't even stay on US 189 to do so. The control city should be for northbound Provo, Heber City, Park City, Cheyenne instead of Salt Lake City, because who's gonna go back on I-80 east to Salt Lake when they could have just stayed on I-15? Kemmerer, Big Piney, even though it has about 300 people, it's the most logical one to sign after Kemmerer and Jackson. And for southbound, it should be Hoback, Pinedale because Big Piney is tiny, Kemmerer because once again Big Piney is tiny, Salt Lake City instead of Evanston because who in the hell is going to Evanston, and Provo because it's larger than Park City and Heber City.